All right, welcome to our weekly Toastmasters meeting. I know it's a pretty small audience that we have here, but we're here. So my name is Noah Kronga. I'm your Sergeant at Arms. I will be opening and closing the meeting. So before I go any further, can I have someone read our mission statement at the bottom left corner of the agenda?
I can read that, Noah.
Thank you, Sourin.
We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth.
Thank you so much. Now I will pass it off to Slate, our president.
Thank you, Noah. I'm Slate Nation's president of UGA Toastmasters. I'm glad you all can make it here today for our definitely lost count. I try and say what number it is every meeting, but we're down to our final few at the end of July here. Our online meetings during summer. Just again grateful have this experience, do it online. We meet 4:30 to 6 o'clock. We started a little late today, so we're switching around roles, but we got that all situated. And we have a great meeting. We've got, going to go ahead and transition to the Toastmaster of the day, which is also me today. And I'll go ahead and just give a little preview of how our meeting works. It's in 3 parts. We have prepared speakers, where we have speakers come up who have spent some time preparing a speech the week prior. And today we only have 1 speaker. That's Noah giving his icebreaker. We have our second portion of the meeting, which is table topics, where we have the table topics master give some prompts and people will respond with a short 1 to 2 minute speech. And third, we'll have evaluations led by a general evaluator who will call on evaluators for the specific paired speakers and also give his evaluation of the meeting entirety. And I think it's going to be a great meeting. Some reminders about our online meeting. Always make sure to be on mute when you're not speaking. Normally, we like to clap every time we switch a speaker on or off the virtual stage. So in place of that, you can just use the clapping reaction in Zoom. And for our timer, we just type the time reminders in chat. And that said, I'll start with introducing our reporters. So first, I'd like to call on our grammarian to introduce his role and what they'll be doing today.
Hello, my name is Justin Hurd. I'll be the grammarian for today, and my role is to, first and foremost, watch for the word of the day, which is derelict, which you can read on the agenda, the definition. It's also in the chat. And the second thing that I do is watch for grammar. Surprise. So basically, monitoring the organization of sentences and their structure, the use of vocabulary, incorrect uses of grammar or vocabulary. So that's my role.
Thank you, Justin. And next, I'll call on counter, which is Sourin today. Sourin, you can explain what the counter will be doing.
So as the counter, my role is to basically look for any filler words that you may use, such as like, but, so, anything that you really use to be unnecessary or awkward pause, and I'll just keep track of that for all your speeches and table topics. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sourin, for that. And third, I'll call on timer, which is actually myself again. Feel a little weird that my name is listed, what looks like at least 5 times on the agenda. Toastmaster wears many hats and has to fill in for some roles, especially during meetings like these where there's only a certain number of members. But nonetheless, timer for today. As the name sounds like, I keep the time for all the speaking roles in all 3 sections. For speakers, that's typically 5 to 7 minutes. And I'll indicate in the chat for our online setting your minimum time, your halfway time, and your ending time. So you can finish at your minimum time. The ending time, you have to wrap it up and that's done. And normally when there are multiple speakers, and for today there are going to be multiple table talk speakers, we'll vote for best speaker and best table talk speaker as well as best evaluator. But we won't have that for best speaker or best evaluator because there's only one speaker. And the times for table topics is 1 to 2 minutes. So I'll give you a reminder at 1, 1.5, and 2. So wrap it up at 2. Be eligible for voting, try and hit that 1 minute minimum. And quick tip, just remember it's just a practice your off the cuff speaking, impromptu. Just try to speak whatever comes to the mind. It's a really short mini speech, intro, body, and then conclude what you said. And the evaluator is 2 to 3 minutes, which will also be me. So I'll just time myself for that. But that is 2 to 3 minutes. So got to hit 2 minutes and end at 3. And that is what the timer will be doing. And those are all 3 of our reporter roles that we can begin our meeting. And that'll be our first speaker. And make sure you stop sharing the agenda when we begin speaking. Our first speaker will be Noah. He'll be giving his icebreaker speech, and I look forward to hearing it. It is called The Power of Social Media. Whenever you're ready, Noah, you can begin. Oh, hold up. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Perfect. So, hey everyone, I'm back again. My name is Noah Karanga. I'll be giving a speech on the power of social media. So, just a short question. You guys don't have to answer, but how many of you guys have ever stayed up all night using an app somehow related to social media? Whether that's Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, or even LinkedIn. Whatever it might be, I'm pretty sure it's unhealthy to stay up all night and watch TikTok videos like I do. However, I do think social media is a great way to stay up to date on pretty much anything in the world. And today, I'm here not to persuade or dissuade you into using social media, but instead, I'm here to share my factual-based opinions about social media and talk about its effect on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is not a history class, so I'm going to be brief. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
You muted yourself. No, I don't know if you meant to or not. That may have been intentional. Just to let you know again, you did turn off your mic.
Hey, sorry, I had an interruption in my room.
Yeah, that was fine. I just kept repeating. You can continue.
Okay. So I think I was talking about, I'm here to share my factual-based opinions about social media and talk about its effect on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This is not a history class, so I'm going to be brief. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is a well-known phrase in the United States Declaration of Independence. This phrase gives 3 examples of the unalienable rights, which the Declaration says it has been given to all people by the Creator, and governments, it has been given to all people by the Creator. And so let's start with life. So life is sort of self-explanatory. It just means to live, or as the Webster Dictionary puts it, life is the sequence of physical and mental experiences that make up the existence of an individual. So you definitely don't need social media to live. But without social media, my life will be a lot different. In times like this, most news about family, friends, or social events are usually posted online. For example, without social media, I would not have easily found out about the general body meetings that the NABA student organization have, or even the application deadlines for an upcoming peer mentorship program. It's just so much, and that will help you. And as a student in college, I feel that it is a necessity to have social media. Let's go with liberty. Liberty means to be free and basically have all your civil rights. Now, trust me, this is a pretty hard connection to make, as social media does not necessarily affect our civil rights. But have you ever thought of the fact that politicians use social media to influence voters, and then once they get into office, they make decisions that will affect our civil rights? This is practically the only way I could connect social media to liberty without changing the actual definition of liberty. So let me give you an example. In 2012, the US presidential campaign had its first real social media campaign. It was between Mitt Romney and Barack Obama, and Mitt Romney's campaign used 5 different social media platforms, whereby Obama's used 9, and Obama ended up winning the election. I'm sure social media helped him a good bit. So, in the importance of a shift in political strategy in 2018 was the recognition of the changing social media network technology that allowed candidates to reach out to the public. But then politicians started to use social media to magnify scandals and spread misinformation instead of campaigning. So, for example, in 2015, President Trump tweeted a link to Breitbart, which is a far-right news site calling Muslims refugees and mocking the notion of Islamophobia and absurdly claiming that terrorists are an expression of mainstream Muslim values. And so on January 27, 2017, Trump ended up signing an executive order. And this was the first version of his Muslim ban that discriminated against Muslims and banned refugees. So hopefully this serves as a vivid connection of how politicians use social media to spread misinformation, round up votes, and threaten the liberty of our fellow Americans. Last but not least is pursuit of happiness. In the Declaration of Independence, this does not guarantee happiness, but it simply guarantees the pursuit of it. If you use social media, and depending on who you follow, I'm pretty sure you've maybe seen 1 or 2 viral videos that are super funny. And if not, I'm sure you have the choice to unfollow or follow a page that will increase your happiness. For example, I use Twitter to find happiness. I unfollow any negative accounts, and I follow and like and retweet all the funny things. And that just keeps me afloat. That makes my day. Whenever I'm upset, I go to Twitter and I find a good laugh. So in conclusion, having social media is important to keep up with certain trends, stay up to date, and be happy. In fact, according to Statista, of the world's 85% of smartphone users, 50% use social media. Now, I'm not saying that it is a necessity to use social media, but with this increase in usage every year, social media will become the backbone of our life, liberty, and our pursuit of happiness. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. So if you heard me gab at all, any of my table topics or side remarks, I'm all for everything you just said about social media. So that was an awesome speech. Love to hear that. Give me just a moment. All right. So now we'll move on to the table topic section in just a moment. But first, feel free to leave Noah any feedback you liked about his speech or recommendations how he can improve next time. You can do that by going down to everyone in the chat section and clicking to Noah and just leave him a bit of info or anything you'd like to say about his job. And also, throughout the meeting, if you want to do it towards the end or whenever, you can also leave feedback for me on how I do my role as Toastmaster. And I'll remind you again to do that for table topics master and generally evaluator when their times come too. But we'll go ahead and give a solid 1 minute, leave time to leave feedback for Noah, as well as get ready for table topics. All right, there should be plenty of time. We'll now transition to table topics. Our table topics master for the day is Courtney, and she'll go into depth again what table topics is and how her section is going to look like today. And then she'll pass it back to me to introduce evaluations afterwards. Courtney, again, welcome to the stage.